Hello, Legion, this is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Sid Meier's Civilization 6 in our 8 Ages of Khmer series, the final of my 3 voiceover episodes that I recorded the other night, while unbeknownst to me, my microphone was not actually recording a single damn thing that I was saying. Hasn't happened to me in a really long time, and I still don't have an explanation for it because everything was working fine. But anyway, we're going to attack Dion here because we really need to end this particular war. And we also need to kind of seal off the area from not Alexander, but from Germany, so that Germany can't come in and take this city, because we want that Potala Palace to the west of Dion, 2 tiles to the west of the city center there. That's one of the most important things that we can get. We're going to completely wear down that encampment just to make sure that we continue to protect our units in the area from any counterattack. We have some rocket artillery in the area. They can't fire just yet. But when they do, it'll be kind of fun. So this TIE Fighter, I don't know why I always see that and think TIE Fighter. I always feel like the word TIE is down there. But now that fighter is going to have more to do. I think we have them very close by at this point, which is quite nice. Yeah, we have them in Chalkidiki, actually. We have one particular, that's city name. We have one particular fighter that's there, so that's exciting. We're going to start having some air combat before the end of the series is over. But we have these units. I'm looking at possibly hitting Germany here. That's one of the things I was commenting on when I zoomed out. We can take Kumasi. We can even we can possibly take Hong Kong using the naval units I have in the area that I was just pointing to. So, you know, if we did decide to go to war with Germany later on, we have the option of liberating cities from him and minimizing the damage we do to him other than that, so as to minimize the warmonger penalty we incur from going to war with Germany. And as a result, we can actually maybe win back some favor with the civilizations of the game, so to speak. Or that's the plan, at least. Whether or not it actually happens, we'll see. But anyway, we're trying to find a good spot to put this tank army. I thought briefly about moving them over to the other continent, but I would rather have them here on the front lines, especially considering that I may very well go to war with Germany, especially if they piss me off in the next couple of turns. Which, thankfully, I don't think they will in this episode, but they could in the future. Okay, a little bit more pillaging because I know that I need the gold, so I'm definitely letting that happen a little bit. Been talking in the previous episodes about how I am not pillaging as much in this particular series, even though in my offline play I have been pillaging more and more. All right, that missionary is about to die. We need to let the Inquisitor kill it, because if it dies in theological combat, it's a martyr, and it will give me a relic. This is me realizing I still have more units. Yeah, more units around Bradford that have been, yeah, that one too, that have been sitting there, not part of the battle. Notice the Bolshoi Theater is almost done, by the way. That's quite nice. And we have another artifact that the other archaeologists in the area can go for right there, so we're going to do that. You can go down next to that one. You can go down next to that one. Very good. Now, what else? Yeah, we're going to send that great scientist back to Dion. And I think we can pillage those elephants now, right? Yeah. Give me that gold. It's a luxury resource, so we get the gold from that as well. Any airgun? I was tempted to promote him there, but I'm not going to. Okay, so I think we're still at the end of a turn here. I've exhausted most of my movement points. I'm considering upgrading that anti-air gun, but we're not quite at a point where it's time to do that yet. I'm going to link them up. There we go. Excellent. We've got a farm built there. That's going to support Nagara Jayasri a little bit more. And then we're still jockeying for some promotions. There we go. For these other ships. I think both of them are going to get promoted at once here. Excellent. And of course the one in the middle got promoted not too long ago. So just those regular attacks on Pella are helping out immensely. We're going to use one more charge on Pella. And that's that. Religious victory-wise, we are 2 of 6 civilizations converted. We are currently... We're a majority religion in Sumeria, and we need to start working on Germany and Alexander at the same time as we're working on Harold Hardrada. So once we're done with this war, I'm really going to try to spend the last couple of episodes of the series, every episode after this one, okay, good, there goes the missionary, and we got the Grapevine Cross as an item of interest. This is Germany offering me a deal. He's going to give me a landscape painting, a great work. All I need to give him is some resources, and he's even going to give me a little bit of gold and gold per turn. I'm going to take it. All right, so I think the moment of truth has arrived.
There's so much.
Right. So here's the Bolshoi Theater.
Of the imagination,
this gives us 2 free civics.
Magic and enchantment. There's so much
and we also just finished synthetic materials. Sorry, Sean. Synthetic. So we can now build helicopters from our cavalry.
The inherent vice of capitalism.
Yeah, we got some free civics.
Sharing. The release of atom power.
The nice thing about the civics we just got, let me show you this. They're 2 leaf civics that we just picked up for free the game gave to us. So by leaf civics, I mean that they are civics or technologies. There can be leaf techs as well that don't have anything branching from them. So they're dead ends, both of them. Look at them, they're right next door to each other. They're both leaves. They don't have anything further that comes from researching them. So you don't have to get them. You can continue to progress without having capitalism in the nuclear program. But now we have the benefit of those policies just from getting the Bolshoi Theater, building that wonder. And we didn't have to worry about going back and spending time on those dead-end leaf policies, which is quite nice. So let's see, I am still pillaging in the area. There are some units that need some promotions. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that with some of these, maybe, or do I... Hang on. Hang on. Yeah, here it is. This is me. Wait a minute. I'm moving some units into play here. Yeah, this is me realizing that my rocket artillery is in range. Watch the life bars. Watch. See how fully armored Dion is. I'm about to give the order for that rocket artillery to fire on Dion. This is a level 4, level 5, technically, rocket artillery army, and it is capable of firing on Dion. Okay, I can't recreate the evil laugh that occurred when I initially did that, but that is amazing. So Dion now can no longer fire on my units. It's a lot closer to falling, and as a matter of fact, I think we're about to end the war right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think we're at that point. I've got a few other artillery. Looks like 4 others in total, and we need to give that promotion to that rocket artillery. We're going to give them... I think I got a little confused at this point as to what promotion screen I was looking at. We'll come back to that in a moment. It was giving me the option to promote, I think, the rocket artillery sitting on my campus in Pella. I think. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I was really confused as to which rocket artillery I was looking at. But the machine gun has gotten the promotion now, but they're level 7, so there's no promotion beyond, or they're level 8. The numbers can be misleading. So because they're at that level, there's no longer anything that they can really get. So sometimes the promotion dialogue will not let me go past a unit that can't be promoted because they've quote-unquote earned a promotion. Whatever. So now we're going to wear down Dion with a few more hits. I'm just very carefully choosing which particular artillery I want to fire on Dion. And there we go. And now I think it's just a matter of deciding which unit I want to invade. I think the tank army got the honor because they're level 1. And I have a bunch of higher level units in the area. So they're going to take Dion. And we are going to do a few more things, I think, before we sue for peace. But this marks the last shot fired in the war here. Progress towards space race has been boosted. We are now 1 turn away from that. Looks like we almost got it completed. We're just a few points away from actually finishing it. All right, so we've got a couple new traders as well, a bunch of traders really, so I'm getting those in position because we need to continue ensuring that our economy is doing as well as possible. Also need to get those airports into place so that any units we need to move around, we can do so relatively quickly. We already have rapid deployment in place, so as soon as the airports are done building, I can just start flying units around regardless of where I build them in my empire, which is quite nice. Again, the final portion of the series is going to be purely religious focused, but doesn't mean that I, don't want to try a couple of different approaches here. And don't want to have a bunch of military units on standby. All right, so I think we're building an airport there in Amanza and Sunday so we can fly across that harbor. And then we've got a granary to repair in Methone. Let's do that. We're going to repair the monument in Pella. And I think the watermill in Dion, yeah. All right, so now we have the extra diplomatic policy. And I mentioned this in the previous episode, I think, but because we conquered that city, because we have the Potala Palace, we now have the extra policy slot from every single wonder that we can get that gives us an extra policy slot. We have the Forbidden City that gives us the extra wildcard policy. We have the Potala Palace, which gives us the additional diplomatic policy. We have Alhambra, which gives us the additional, which is in London, by the way, which gives us the additional military policy. And then, of course, we have Big Ben, which we took from Alexander as well. He took from us earlier in the game, too. So, all right, so that's Apostle just rode in and did exactly what we wanted him to do. Unfortunately, their Inquisitor right there in Nidaros is going to be able to cancel out that progress. And notice we didn't even get a follower. We reduced their influence in their holy city a little bit, but we're going to need to do a lot more with a lot more religious units. We're going to need a lot more going on, and we can't be at war with them, so we can't piss them off too much. But if we can maybe get a proselytizer, which would be nice, to reduce the effect of certain religions in the area, that would be something that could really turn Nidaros against its own religion. So we're going to focus on trying to do that when we have the opportunity. But for now, we're doing a few more things, getting some trade routes set up, getting a few cities taken care of, and we're going to sue for peace with Alexander. We still have a few tiles to repair around Dion as well. And notice that we do have a spaceport. It's on fire right now because it's been pillaged by me, and Alexander hadn't repaired it yet. But we do have a spaceport. So we've made that progress. Need to get this archaeologist down to a spot where it can be useful. Now, I sent him down to that one, but there's another archaeologist like a few tiles away from it, so he's going to be there in just a second. But we'll have more orders to give that archaeologist before long. So this is our medic apostle, and I don't really know that I have any use for him at this point because we've solidly kicked Alexander's ass. So there's really no reason for us to have any medic-related units up there. We're going to gain sources in Nidaros with our spy that's arrived there, and then disrupt rocketry there. That order was given last episode, I think, so that unit's finally arrived. Thank God. Took its sweet time. Okay, so we have this fighter that can definitely launch an air attack, but not against any units that we're at war with, and we're not ready to go to war with Germany yet. But I'm going to go ahead and retire John Monash now, I think. This is me deciding which unit I want to use him on. He will promote a unit and give a lot of experience to a unit as well. So now that rocket artillery army is level 5. I guess level 6. I kind of prefer to just still say that they're level 4, and if it's and say that if it doesn't have a promotion yet, it's a level 0 unit. That seems to just make more sense to me because they're just a starting unit. They're at level 0. I don't know. Okay, this observation balloon needs to get paired up with that guy. That's right, I remember this. I didn't realize that a builder was one of the units sitting on that tile, so I was like, what's going on here? What's the third unit? Is it a great general? I don't even know what's happening. There we go. All right, so I've got a few units that I'm going to position up here, but in a second, we just need to make peace with Alexander. I'm going to milk this experience for all it's worth. Or maybe not, because I'm going to get these promotions and then be done with the war. I don't think that I led another turn cycle. I'm pretty sure that in the next couple of seconds, I'm going to go back and actually set up a peace deal with Alexander. Yeah, I remember. All right, so that's me realizing the turn is about ready to cycle, and now we're going to go in and we're going to make peace. So check this out. He's going to give me all his gold. He's going to give me all his gold per turn, which is a massive income of 252 gold per turn, which helps ensure for the next 30 turns that he's alive, that he is not really able to progress as much as he might like, towards, other important things. And he's going to cede every single city that we've conquered. He also, I'm going to have to leave this screen because I can't remember the name of the city. That's right. It's Alexandria Prothesia, but in this particular moment, I couldn't remember that that was the city that I wanted from him. It's the one over on the other continent that he settled. All right, so this is me just making sure I'm getting every single city from him that I can. And then, you know what? Did I get the Shroud of Turin from him? I don't think I got the Shroud of Turin from him. I totally should have. I don't believe that I did. Shame on me. Okay, so he had a few great works down at the bottom that I totally could have taken from him, but I'm just getting all of his resources. Yeah, I didn't click. It's just the one, Shroud of Turin, but I didn't do that. But we're going to propose that deal to him. He accepts it. And as a consequence, now he's back to being douchebag McGee. And we're going to try and establish an embassy with him. He's not interested. Still hates us. We have control of Alexandria Prothasia. And we are now no longer at war with anybody, for now. And we have a ridiculous amount of gold and a ridiculous amount of gold income. So these promotions that we need to make with our remaining artillery, as well as the coming infantry units, are going to be a little bit easier once those upgrades are done. So one thing I want to comment on that I haven't commented on in my voiceover commentary yet, but I did bring up a couple of times in the original recordings, and I'm just remembering this. We are on episode 36 right now of this series. We're coming up on episode 40, and you know what that means. I wasn't expecting this to be a 40-episode series, but then again, I wasn't expecting a religious victory series to get so sidetracked by other conditions, by war, basically. By Victoria, and by the Congo, by the necessity of beating Congo. If we had not gone after Congo when we did, there would be no chance, really, of our ever really having, gotten this far in the game. I really don't think there would be. And because we did that, though, we've spent so much time in war in a religious victory series that it's taking a little bit longer. Especially because, when you're at war, when you're doing all this fighting, less game time passes per episode because you're spending time deliberating, you're thinking about moves you want to make, there's a lot of combat, and so the game slows down a bit. And so we're going to keep the series going. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, we're going to hit episode 40 and have to do something drastic, but I just wasn't expecting to get to episode 40. So
the Russians took a pencil.
I love that quote. All right, so now we have satellite broadcast, which triples tourism from great works of music, and integrated space cell, which gives extra production from towards space race projects if a city has either a military academy or a seaport, which a lot of my cities do have. So we're done with that civic, and we can go ahead and did I set this up yet? I don't think I did. Maybe I did. I can't recall. I was looking at my policies to make sure there was nothing else I could implement. I don't want to set up any of the culture-related policies because I feel like we might get an accidental culture victory. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because I feel like this series might go on hiatus again, and that's atypical for my Civilization content. Most of my Civ series are below 40 episodes. They might get into their second 20. Very rarely do they get into their third 20. So it's going to be interesting to see what I can pull off with episode 37, 38, 39, and 40. I will certainly try, but I'm not going to force it. I would hate to ruin the series by trying to rush any kind of victory before 40 episodes, but it'll make for an interesting second run of this series here that we're in the middle of. All right, so we're going to go for globalization as our next civic. Some nice policies, especially e-commerce there. Extra production in gold to external trade routes with other nations. Always a good thing to have. And we can promote this rocket artillery army that we gave John Monash up for. We're going to, I think I need to do the promotion first, yeah. It might not matter, but I'm just being paranoid. Crew weapons, +7 combat strength when defending. This also leads to shells, which gives extra combat strength versus district defenses, which counts against cities as well. Always a good thing. So, all right, so no real great promotions for that new apostle, unfortunately. It would probably benefit me to build a holy site in a couple of my cities and get some of my religious buildings built to crank out some additional faith. There are a couple, like I'm actually looking at Kish right now. Kish could benefit from a holy site. There's a spot where it could probably be pretty productive. I might even be able to I might be able to plant some trees and make a holy site really nice in Kish. So that's something I'm going to do in the next episode, most likely, is really take a look. You can see I'm repairing all the cities now that I have. Oh, check that out. 832 gold from the city of Majapahit. Thank you, Indonesia, for that donation, that kind donation. So now we will absolutely be able to promote the rest of our artillery units and other units that need to be promoted. And we'll have gold to spare because we're still getting ridiculous amounts of money from Alexander every single turn for the next 30 turns. Not quite 30 anymore, but you get the point. Things are going well. So yeah, the next episodes, I'm definitely going to be doing everything I can to create as much new faith as possible, while also creating new religious units and just sending them into the territory of some of my neighboring empires here, particularly Harold Hardrada, because he's got that really strong Eastern Orthodox religion that's been giving me a hard time for a while. Anti-air gun, you're promotable, dude. This is me noticing that apostle. What are you doing here? So we're going to attack with that Inquisitor, and I think buy another one here in a second. Right here in Bradford. Yep, there it is. Now go back and promote that anti-air gun, dude. You saw the button. You've got the gold. Promote it. I guess maybe I'm still saving it for artillery. No, it doesn't make any sense, because if I was saving it for artillery, I could promote an artillery or two right now. So why am I not promoting that unit? I'm annoying myself with my voiceover commentary. If you're watching this episode for the first time, again, if this happens to be the very first time you've seen my content, this episode, the one before it, and the one before it, 34, 35, 36, are very atypical for me because I'm doing voiceover commentary. I recorded this video. I normally do simultaneous commentary where I comment as I play, but I'm commenting after the fact here because of an audio mishap that I cannot explain. Everything was fine. Everything was working. Everything was plugged in. Nothing was turned off. And yet there's no sound in the original audio files that coincide with these recordings. Don't know what to tell you. It's weird. All right, so promote that anti-air gun, damn it. Okay, there's one, but I know there's another one somewhere. All right, we've got another artillery unit there to promote. I'm looking at it, dude. Come on. Yeah, promote that guy. Good. Looks like I'm finally figuring it out. There we go. I have all this money. So this is the nice thing about where we are with our military units. If we do have to go to war with Germany in the next couple of episodes to free some city-states and get some influence from them, and maybe win back favor with some of the other civilizations so that we don't spend the final part of the game, you know, worrying about someone declaring on us or dropping nukes on us, we can do a lot of damage to Germany very quickly, but not necessarily take any of his cities. Because honestly, if I go to war with Germany, I don't want to take any of his cities. I just want to free city-states, and I want to win favor with the other civs by doing so. Very soon, I will start unlocking the other endgame units. And I'm very excited about that. Still not promoting that unit. All right, so we're going to move, I think, that machine gun to Potala Palace. Yep. Just a little bit closer to Germany's territory. Not too close, but a little bit closer. Leave those artillery up there. We're going to improve those dies. Again, those resources are available to me. All right, we have promoted that cavalry to a helicopter, so it's finally able to fend for itself a little bit more easily against any modern units that might try to you know, just intrude upon my territory. All right, so we've got our submarines now specifically moving just to the off-the-shore borders of Germany. That's another thing I hope they change in Civ 6 soon. I've mentioned this in recent content, but I really, in recent episodes, but I really hope they do change. Okay, they're attacking my apostle, I think? Yeah, but that's a debater, so I really did more damage to their Inquisitor than he did to me, which is nice. I really do hope that they change the borders on the minimap. Look down at the minimap right now. What you're seeing, including... what you're seeing there is the borders of those nations includes water tiles. So that's not really the accurate shape of the continents. That is the shape of the territories. And when I look at a minimap, I'm sorry, the primary thing that I want to see is the land masses and then the portion of the land masses that are controlled by the civs. It's confusing to me when the minimap represents, you know, when the minimap prioritizes, I guess, the territory controlled, regardless of whether it's an ocean or a land tile. It's not visually appealing to me. It doesn't make sense. And I'd prefer it be different. All right, so notice they just created another Inquisitor at full health over here. And so what I'm going to do, I think, is move this Guru back to the spaceport, if I'm not mistaken. He's only got 1 heal left, but he can support the Apostle for a little while longer, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So we're closing in on the 25-minute mark here. One of the things, I started saying this at the end of the last episode in my voiceover, and I'll say it now while we're in the midst of this combat. You know, one of the things I want to do in the new year on the channel is really focus on making sure that I don't go too long with episodes. And I know it's kind of ironic because this is a 32-minute episode, but the reality is that when I am having fun, sometimes, and this happens a lot, especially with Civ 6, because I love Civilization, I will just keep playing an episode, especially, and I love to use this as an excuse, right? Especially if I say, oh, I'm only going to play this particular number of episodes. I'm only playing this many a sitting. I want to keep playing. I want to keep going. But it's the same excuse you give to your mom and dad when you know you have other things you should be doing and you say, no, I want to keep playing. Like, ultimately, it's bad for everybody. I mean, it might give you, a slightly, you know, longer length episode where you feel like it's more natural, but at the end of the day, if I'm not enforcing episode length on episodes, then you know, it really sets my schedule behind in terms of what I need to accomplish. So one thing you're going to see with this particular year on the channel is a specific focus on making sure that we stay under the 30-minute mark and closer to the 25-minute mark as a rule. So again, I know it's ironic to say that during a 32-minute episode. Part of the reason this episode ended up being longer is I was making that point at the end. And I wanted to kind of share that as a thought. But, because I do it a lot with Civilization content. And I feel like sometimes it's nice, and sometimes, don't get me wrong, sometimes I will deliberately do a longer episode because I'm planning to. I like to do, for instance, series finales and partial finales, like episode 20s, episode 40s, when the series is going to be gone for a while, or when the series is being finished up. I might do a 45-minute, 55-minute episode, even an hour-long episode. The Part 3 finale of Against All Odds Season 4 was, the Part 4 finale was an hour and 20 minutes long. Just because. But that's the exception, not the rule, right? All right, so we've got a new great person here. I'm going to go ahead and put them down. Where am I going to put you? All right, so we've got that. That great person has 2 charges, so we're going to use that. I don't remember what... I think we might have looked a moment ago. Maybe you saw it while I was talking. Might have looked at what that great person does, but I don't recall right now. I remember being kind of excited about Jane Drew, though, for some reason. So we'll come back to that, maybe. Or maybe I'll come back to it. I don't know. I don't have any control over what's happening right now. This is all voiceover commentary. But anyway, let's see. We've got some other religious units heading down to support the ones that are already fighting in the area of Nidaros. Going to try and wear down that holy city bit by bit. We've got a new trader we've just built in London. We need to put them up in Dion so that that new city is supported by our economy and connected to our economy. And these other units, we're still waiting on an rocket artillery corps that's training in the southern part of the Empire to come up and army up with that particular unit that I'm moving right now. But we have some other units that really just need to stay put for a bit until things are a little bit more stable. And that's all well and good. Yeah, just a bunch of units that we kind of want to have in the general vicinity of our borders. I mean, these rocket artillery can defend very easily in a wide radius all around them. So it's just a matter of having them in good positions and being aware of what's the... Okay, finally we promoted that unit. Good lord, it took me long enough. All right, so we've got some other apostles on the way down. Yeah, you need to head over there. Our debater is still alive. There he is, about to take on that Inquisitor again. We have a couple of Inquisitors up here as well. Inquisitors, of course, don't have any combat ability outside of my own territory. So we're going to keep them here. And we're also going to use them just to make sure that there is religious purity in the new Macedonian territory that we've just conquered from Alexander. Mobile Sam, and it really just needs to be up there on the border somewhere. What you thinking about, Hadrian? What was I talking about at that point? Weird. Okay. Sometimes I don't remember at all like what particular point I was bringing up. So we have, I think this might have been when I started talking about what I was saying a moment ago about episode length. That might be why I seem to be talking about things like taking very seriously some decisions which really should be quite trivial, like where this trade route goes. I think we're going to put him in a rather significant city, possibly in Angkor Thom. I think, yeah, just to give additional support to the capital in the final stretch of the series. All right, so we've got those battleships on the way out. Okay, so... no. Yeah, now that I've gotten a second chance to look at that deal, I'm glad I said no to it. I remember saying no to it rather hastily the first time, but not much of a trade deal being offered there by Harold, the guy whose religion we're trying to eliminate from his own territory. And it's going to be a real challenge. We also have to make sure he does not get a science victory any better than Alexander does, because now he's slightly ahead of Alexander. So we've neutered Alexander, pretty much. We've removed him from contention. Okay, good. There's nuclear fission.
All you're going to do is make the rubble bounce.
All right, so there's that. So we need to make sure we send some spies his direction. And we've already done that, of course. We have a few spies working in his territory. But we're about done here. Again, in the next one, I'm going to kind of shift focuses a little bit. I'm going to build holy sites as much as I can, or we're going to crank out as many religious units as I can and really start sending a bunch of units in that direction in the hopes that we can start pushing back against that very strong Eastern Orthodox religion, as well as make sure that Alexander and Germany start getting converted as well. Germany has the Catholic religion to fight back against. So whether we finish this in 40 or not remains to be seen. I'm just going to have to kind of play it by ear. I doubt it's going to be finished in 40. I would have to be very lucky, but you never know. I would imagine it's going to be like 46 or 47 episodes in total. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. New episodes are coming out every day at noon Eastern time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.